Uncharted Drake's Fortune was originally released in November 2007 for the PlayStation 3. Later in 2015, this game, as well as Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3, received a remastered version for the PlayStation 4. This version not only included the three games in one single disc, but also offered a higher resolution, improved framerate, two new difficulties as well as a speedrun mode with new challenges for the player, new tweaks and trophies for each game, and near instant loads. With this version out, speedruns of the original game became more and more popular. Eventually, it was found that using the super slow motion tweak from the newest version, you were able to enter an airwalk state that allowed you to freely fly over the map, as well as stopping you from hitting any sort of collision. A category was made only for the use of this glitch, and the normal any percent category would then be renamed to any percent no airwalk. Before moving on, I have to explain what a launch is. If you get near a sloped surface, roll into it and then press the inspect or aim button and circle at the same time, nades will be launched forward, allowing you to fly over huge chunks of the map. This trick is extremely difficult to pull off, and until August 2017, almost no one was using these launches. On that month, however, the French runner Arems submitted a run with a final time of 39 minutes and 19 seconds to the any percent no airwalk category. A run that amazed most runners at the time, since it contained not one, but three launches, as well as almost perfect execution in the rest of the skips and strategies used. This run would stay in the top for almost 3 years, until last year, when it was beaten by more than 30 seconds. How, you might wonder? That's what we're going to find out. This is the story of how the 3-year any percent world record in Uncharted Drake's Fortune was dethroned and how it was done. Since that run was submitted back in 2017, a lot of new runners have joined the community, including myself, and a lot of new optimizations and skips have been found. However, even with all the new tricks, the 3919 was still a really hard time to match, requiring the combination of all the strats learned in that time. Rocky, previously known as Rocky Elemental, was up for the challenge. Rocky started speedrunning Uncharted 1 in around November 2018, more than a year later after Arems' run. He started grinding the category, getting a personal best almost every week, until he reached a time of 41 minutes and 8 seconds. Rocky knew he would have to find new skips if he wanted to catch up with Arems, and so he did. Rocky would spend a lot of his free time glitch hunting, just wandering around the map trying to find new skips to improve his time. He would eventually find 3 new launches, one of them located right at the beginning of Chapter 4. By going right and climbing on top of this small hill, you can launch yourself to almost the middle of the chapter, saving about 40 seconds. The second one was an alternate launch to an already existing one, located at the beginning of Chapter 13. By going past the gate and doing it on the other side made so that the launch became much more consistent and easier to do. This last one was also located in Chapter 13, right after the one previously mentioned. By going to this graveyard area before the treasure vault, you were able to launch yourself from Chapter 13 all the way to Chapter 18. This was a huge discovery at the time, but Rocky was still not happy with how inconsistent this launch was, and so he kept pushing until eventually he was able to find this. This new version, originally called Courtyard Launch, not only happens a few seconds earlier, but also puts you in a far better spot at the end, being pretty much a launch that sends you from Chapter 13 to Chapter 20, saving the huge amount of 6 minutes over the normal route. This launch was exactly what Rocky needed in order to beat Aram's legendary run. There was a catch, however. Courtyard Launch was by far the hardest launch to pull off, since it gives you a vastly different height and distance variances when performed. Not only that, but it also needs to send you in a very specific direction in order to land in Chapter 20. After launch, you also have to load the next area using photo mode, and since there are no points of reference in the vast void of the game, you would need to know by heart when Nate is positioned in the right spot. All this tech is only for this very launch, which happens very late in the run, which means before that you would still need to go through the other launches, as well as getting the normal speed threads and skips to work. All this combined was still an extremely difficult task to complete. After Rocky's latest discovery, a lot of people started messing around with the launch. Even Harims had come back to try and practice the new launch himself. The pressure was all on Rocky. If he wanted to get the world record to himself, he would need to start doing runs soon. And so he did. After a couple of days practicing the launch, he started doing runs in the hopes of getting it while still being in a time good enough to beat Arams's. And just after a few days of attempts, this happened.
Oh, that was close, that one. Oh, maybe? Until we land, we don't know how the height is, unfortunately. But this looks promising. It's close, anyway. It's pretty close. It might or might not land. We don't know until we land. There's a lot of outcomes. Holy shit, I got it.
Rocky had finally done Courtyard Launch in a run with a decent enough pace. The run, however, still wasn't over.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I am an idiot. What the fuck, actually? Fucking finally. I'm so sorry. I was having a fucking nervous breakdown. I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking sorry.
The amount of pressure made even a simple QuickTime event he had previously done hundreds of times seem like a challenge. But even with this misfortune, Rocky was able to finish the run with a final time of 38 minutes 48 seconds, beating Aram's God run by more than 30 seconds. Later, Arams as well as other runners were able to finish runs using Courtyard Launch, and eventually the any % no airwall category was split into the launches and no launches subcategories in order to make competition more fair. It's still pretty amazing how Rocky was able to change the way we see any % in this game, and how he was able to find a glitch that allowed him to beat a run thought to be perfect. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to share it with other people. I also stream on Twitch, mostly speedruns of the Uncharted and The Last of Us games, so if you like that, make sure to check it out. I also want to say that if you're interested in running Uncharted 1 yourself, Matt, one of the game's biggest glitch hunters, recently released a video where he talks about all the glitches we use in the speedrun, and the basics on how to perform them. So if you would like to learn the any % category, that's a pretty good place to start. I will leave his video in the description, as well as a link to both Aaron's and Rocky's Twitch channel, where they frequently stream speedruns of this very game, so make sure to check them out too. That's gonna be it for me, guys. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all very, very soon.
It's what you do with the hand you dealt.
You're a crook, right? What do you want from me?
I see great things in our future, kid. Great things.